modes of material nature are under his control. But although he's controlling everything, he's independent at the same time. Okay, so only God can do that. Only God can do that. Nobody else can do that. So, 1 second. Purport by Srila Prabhupada on chapter 7, text number 12. All material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord, Krishna, he is not subject to them. For instance, under the state laws, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme Lord, Krishna. But Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, meaning Krishna, do not affect him. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagavan or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, but that's very important. He is nirguna, without being subjected to the gunas, the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Krishna is completely transcendental. Otherwise, he couldn't be God. He has to be transcendental to the modes of material nature. If he's controlled by one of the modes or all the modes, then he's not God. He's an ordinary human being. Text number 13. Trivir gunamayer baver. Ebe sarvam idam jagat. Mohitam nabijanahati. Mam ebya param avyayam. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So that's the point. Krishna is not subjected or by the modes of material nature. He is above the modes. Otherwise, he couldn't be God. Purport. The whole world is enchanted by three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Every living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body and a particular type of psychological and biological activities accordingly. There are four classes of men functioning in the three material modes of nature. Those who are purely in the mode of goodness are called brahmanas. Those who are purely in the mode of passion are called kshatriyas. And those who are in the modes of both passion and ignorance are called vaishyas. Those who are completely in ignorance are called sudras. And those who are less than that are animals or animal life. However, these designations are not permanent. That's a very important statement. One may be born in a Sudra family, but if such a person is trained properly, he can become a sannyasi or he can become a brahmana. I may either be a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, or whatever. In any case, this life is temporary. But although life is temporary and we do not know what we are going to be in the next life, by the spell of this illusory energy, we consider ourselves in terms of this bodily conception of life, and we thus think that we are American, Indian, Russian, or Brahmana, Hindu, Muslim, etc. And if we become entangled with the modes of material nature, then we forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is behind all these modes. So, Lord Krishna says that living entities deluded by these three modes of nature do not understand that behind the material background is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Well, this is a very good statement. One time, I've said this before, but I'll repeat it again. One time, I was on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada. During that walk, he was so, let's say, forcefully saying that the scientists are rascals. And he kept repeating it over and over again. They're just rascals. And I said to Prabhupada, I said, I have never in all my life heard anyone criticize the scientists like you have done just now. I said, I was brought up and I've always had the idea that, scientists are like the most erudite people in the world. But you're calling them over and over again as rascals. So I said to Prabhupada, I've never heard anyone speak like this before. And Prabhupada just said, yes. He said, then he looked at me and he said, do you know why? And I said, no, I don't know why. He said, because, and he put his finger up like this. He said, because I know that Krishna is behind everything. I know that. Therefore, I can speak like this. Whoa. He was very, very strong, unbelievable. So, yes. So, Lord Krishna says that living entities deluded by these three modes of nature do not understand that behind the material background is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the same thing Prabhupada said. Yeah. I know that Krishna is behind everything. So when you have that faith, then you can fearlessly say that scientists are nonsense. And you can speak strongly because you have absolute faith that Krishna is behind everything. There are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc. And each and every one of them is under the influence of material nature. And all of them have forgotten the transcendent personality of Godhead. Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in the mode of goodness, cannot go beyond the impersonal Brahman conception of the absolute truth. Wow. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord in his personal feature, which possesses all beauty, opulence, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation. When even those who are in goodness cannot understand, what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance? Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature. And those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. Well, this is a very significant statement by Prabhupada. Because first we have to learn who Krishna is. He's definitely not an ordinary person. He's definitely not some kind of extraordinary person. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to him. No one is greater than him. Everyone is subordinate to him. And he is not simply the Brahman conception. He is Brahman and Paramatma and Bhagavan. So, therefore, unless we understand that, we will always be bewildered. That's why Prabhupada says that those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in the mode of goodness, cannot go beyond the impersonal Brahman conception of the absolute truth. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord in his personal feature, which possesses all beauty, all opulence, all knowledge, all strength, all fame, and all renunciation. When even those who are in goodness cannot understand, what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance? Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature, and those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. So, we should all strive to be truly established in Krishna consciousness. That means every day, 24 hours a day, we should strive to be Krishna conscious by chanting Hare Krishna and hearing about Krishna, worshiping Krishna, and bowing down to Krishna, etc. We must absolutely rise above the influence of the modes of material nature. How do you do that? You chant Hare Krishna all the time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Then you can rise above the modes of material nature. The Hare Krishna mantra is the Maha mantra, the greatest mantra for liberating one from the cycle of birth and death. We don't have to chant any other mantra. There are so many mantras, but the Maha mantra is the Maha mantra, the greatest mantra of them all in the age of Kali Yuga. So if you simply chant the Maha mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, then we will be transcendentally situated, and we will be qualified to go back to God. If we chant a little bit, but not really seriously, we're not going to get out of the cycle of birth and death. There is benefit in chanting the name Hare Krishna mantra, but it should be done seriously and every day and as much as possible. It shouldn't be done, like I had a friend of mine, he was a devotee. He was initiated by Prabhupada. And he was a GBC member at one time. And then he left. And then I met him after he left. And I said, Prabhu, are you chanting Hare Krishna? He said, yeah, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, but not like you. Every day you're just going Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. I don't chant it. Mm-hmm. I only chant on New Year's Eve at 12 o'clock in the evening, and I say, Hare Krishna. He said, that's worth 100 times better than what all your Hare Krishnas are saying. All the time you say Hare Krishna. So he was a very dramatic, right? But that's nonsense. Prabhupada never said that. Only chant once in a year on New Year's Eve. So he was being theatrical. But he meant it. He was serious about it. He was very adamant about it. Then I realized he's gone crazy, even to think like that. Right? But at least he chants once a year, Hare Krishna. But that's not what Prabhupada taught us to do. He taught us to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra at least 16 good rounds every day. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So you see, there's so many different types of devotees, and sometimes they, uh, you know, develop these strange concepts. Just like this very good friend of mine, who used to be a member of the GBC, who used to have disciples also. He left this guy. And when I met him and I asked him, "Are you chanting Hare Krishna?" He said, "Yes, but not like you." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I chant only once a year on New Year's Eve. But my once chanting on New Year's Eve is worth much more than all your chanting all year round." But he said it in such a theatrical and adamant way that I didn't say anything. I said, "Okay, well, at least you say it once a year." But that's not what Prabhupada said. He didn't say just chant it once a year on New Year's Eve. He said you should chant every day. 16 good rounds every day. And 16 is the minimum. If you want to chant 32 or 64, you can. Okay, so that means that, okay, he chants Hare Krishna once a year. But that's not what Prabhupada said we should do. Therefore, he speculated. That's speculation. Now, is there any benefit of him chanting only once a year on New Year's Eve? Yeah, there's some benefit. But he's not following Srila Prabhupada's instructions. So therefore, he's off the rails. He's not bona fide. But there is some little bit of benefit because he's chanting the holy name at least once a year, right? But that's not what Prabhupada taught us to do. Okay, so what time is it? I'm going to stop right now.
7:30.
Yeah, I'm going to stop right now because I'm going to go to the temple. Are there any questions anyone would like to ask? Any questions? Any questions, my dear devotees? Okay, if there are no questions, then we will adjourn so that I can go to the temple and chant Hare Krishna tonight, starting at 8 o'clock. I like to go every night and chant Hare Krishna in the temple. Any questions? No? This is good. You made this, huh?